He just wanted to know if they had a registry, because they weren't from the city.
Okay, we're trying to connect live right now.
Yeah, I was just throwing that feeler out there.
Yeah.
See,
Because of the flags and.
That's why I didn't even answer.
Yeah.
You bumped this
It's like-
thing.
nah, you were waiting for
Plain
somebody else to say yes
Yeah.
to it. I knew you were jumping in, right,
I
Mike?
had to tell them, this is the first time I had
No, we're just gonna have to, grin it and bear it tonight.
You're good to go.
Ready?
You're the one I'm worried about.
As you should be. I'm
Ready?
excited about it, and I have all when I get in there, it might be a different story.
I'll be looking for a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the first regular meeting dated Wednesday, May 11th, 2022, and second prepared by the clerk. There's 3 pieces of communication. Questions or comments on communication? Mayor's report, Mayor Miller.
Yes, I'm going to give that now, if that's okay. Let me just pull it up, sorry.
Well, while she's doing that, I did have a question about that letter from the baseball. So does that mean they're just
Would you like me to read it? I can
There's a
certainly
copy
read it to
with it.
everybody,
No, I
yeah.
have the letter.
Oh,
We
okay.
have the letter.
Okay.
So that means they're just staying separate.
They are staying separate, and the gist of it is that they are coexisting and they like each other, basically. You know, that they don't have the one doesn't have an issue with the other. That's the consensus I got from.
But the whole issue was whether or not they could use the field though, right?
Right.
Or are they gonna be allowed to use the field?
I don't know. I don't know if they're making arrangements to use the field up at
And
up
then they're
in
not
Neve or
going
not.
back to the
You know,
Little League,
my-
they're staying separate.
My feeling is that I'll call them the independent league, not that that's what they're supposed to, not that how they identify themselves, but that they may be coming back and looking to play at Mocky still. So I don't know.
So
I
they're gonna
don't know.
merge?
No, they're not.
They're not. They like
No.
each other, but they're not gonna merge.
They are respectful of each other and the differences that they have, and even so far as the one somebody in the Struthers baseball league had a child that was looking to switch teams to play in the other league, and they were able to talk about it, and come to a peaceful resolution. So I mean, it's not like they're having issues with each other, and I think that was the concern of some of the people that were involved, that everybody looked at this as an issue between
They're
them.
against each other.
Right, and from the sounds of things, from in talking to both the president of the league, vice president of the league, and with the gentleman that was here, it seems like they're okay with.
So what's
They are
the,
agreeing to disagree.
what's the issue, why the Struthers baseball league is not letting players use the field?
They did offer.
They did?
I'll tell you what, honestly, I don't know. I don't, to say what is the issue, I don't know what exactly the issue is, but they're not able to resolve it.
They had some really good meetings where parents were involved, baseball league, and the Struthers baseball league told them, we'll modify the fields, we'll pay for it, and everybody apparently thought it was great, and I guess they still decided not to use those. So
Springfield. The other
Yes,
league, the league.
yeah.
Well,
So
the league that
it was offered to, the SBL did offer the fields to
So
them.
they made a mess about this for others.
Yes, but I think some of the parents were misinformed.
Okay.
So I think it's going to work itself out, I do, but I do think we're going to be approached again, and our Mocky field isn't the dimensions that they need. So SBL willing to modify the field may be their best bet.
What field are they gonna modify? The Pony League field?
Yes,
Oh,
believe so.
so it needs to be.
the bases just need,
Longer.
yeah. But I think they're working, as far as I'm concerned, some of the parents got involved, and they are going to try to work it out.
And I think that the purpose of the letter, at least my belief is that they just wanted the parents to recognize that there aren't, to try and tone down whatever animosity that might exist between everybody. That they recognize that there are differences with what they're trying to accomplish with the different leagues. So.
Well, hey, at least some dialogue was opened up,
Yeah.
and
Thanks
some
to
bad
Jim.
blood kind of put behind them, and who knows what the future will hold.
Right, yeah. Hopefully they'll come to some kind of resolution.
Very good.
And thank you for mediating all that.
Oh, yeah,
Then-
yeah,
I
sure.
love the council.
Oh, yeah, right.
Double duty.
Double duty, triple duty, whatever it takes.
Is there any other questions on communications? Any other questions? Okay, now we'll go into the mayor's report. Mayor Miller, you're gonna read these on the floor?
No, I'm gonna read mine now,
Okay.
just to get it out of the way. Because I have a couple other things that were not included in the mayor's report that I'll just
Gotcha.
approve them. Our military banners are now up. Please check them out downtown State Street, Logo Road, Bridge Street, and now Poland Avenue. Big thank you to the Struthers Street Department for getting these all up in the middle of the peak of grass cutting and pothole filling. They were able to get these up too before Memorial Day. If you're interested in a banner, please call Linda or Debbie. They're taking applications for Veterans Day until September 7th. Congratulations to our boxing star Giovanni Farina on his win in the third round a few Saturdays ago. He's always representing our city with class and determination. As a follow-up to the Mahoning-Trumbull Community Health Assessment Survey, they're now prioritizing the most important health issues within our community. Every adult living in Mahoning and Trumbull County has a say in setting priorities. They're asking for your opinion on the most important issues that we need to focus on in order to improve our health of our community. Please visit this website to fill out the survey. Congrats to the Groner family who have officially secured a license to operate a medical marijuana license in the Creed building in downtown Struthers. The State of Ohio Board of Pharmacy issued 70 provisionary licenses, and Greenleaf Therapy received one after a very long application process. They have 270 days to meet the requirements set by the state to open this. We would like to thank John Greer for choosing Struthers as the destination for the Samuel Hubbard Scott Flag Collection. Most of the flags are over 70 years old and donated to the Ohio Society. They will be on display at the Struthers Elementary School from Wednesday the 25th to June 1st. We did have them in the courtroom for a few days until court started, then they were in my office on display, but they're going to be in display at the elementary school. I don't know that they're letting anybody in to visit because of the recent events, but the kids, when we were there today, were already asking
Very
questions
curious.
about the flags as they were passing by, so that was interesting. We do have 2 grants that we just received. Our fire department wrote a grant, the whole department wrote a grant together, and they received $10,000 for equipment. So that's really good, because we didn't have to pay for anything in writing of the grant. We also received another CDBG award for $111,000 to continue the Poland Avenue Phase 2 part of the project.
Mayor, can you elaborate on that phase, what you'll be looking to do on it?
So the first phase still isn't complete, because they're still backed up. If you want to, go ahead.
Yeah, the email we just got, they were behind because of rain and everything else on their other projects, so the email we got said they were gonna start this week on finishing up the phase 1.
And the phase 1 finish up would be picking
Cleaning up all the
piles.
sawdust,
Okay,
And fixing
digging out the
sidewalks
roads, straightening the sidewalks out.
okay,
and curbing.
Right. So it was supposed to start this week, it didn't, so we're looking at next week. Hopefully they start. I think once they start, it's probably only gonna be a week, they'll be done,
yeah,
so.
great.
So this is pretty much the same thing going up, fixing a lot of the sidewalks where the trees have uprooted and fixing the curbing, because we want to really improve that main artery there.
Sure.
We did set the days for movies in the park. The first one's going to be June 3rd, and I think it's the Ghostbuster movie, July 15th, and August 5th. Those we haven't got the movies yet. Music in the park, we're going to have the flyer soon. Talked to Lori today to fill the last spot.
He's still waiting on 2, he's just waiting on 2
Okay.
guys to say okay, and then.
That's fine.
Did you have times that you were gonna,
6 to 9.
from 6 till 9?
Yes,
Okay,
but if they request to do it from 6 to 8, we're okay with whatever they
okay,
wanted.
okay, gotcha.
June 16th, we're gonna have vintage vinyl. That's always pretty crowded. July 14th, Jim got a hold of John Reese Project. They're gonna be there. July 28th, we're waiting on one more, and then August 11th will be Mr. Noble. And then we have cleanup day on June 4th. I have a flyer if anybody wants to see that. We're gonna split this up a little bit different this year. So instead of doing the collection thing from 8 to 12, 8 to noon is going to be cleanup for all the volunteers that wanna come. And then the collections will only be from 10 to noon. So there'll be 2 hours for the collections. The tire drive is $1 a tire. We have to do that legally now. Before we didn't, I think we didn't have to take anything for that, we do now.
Mayor, if the tires are on a rim, do they still take those, or it has to be separate? Okay.
The appliance recycling and electronic screens, the CRT, the tube, like the big fat TVs are $2 an inch, the LCD and flat panels are $1 an inch. We'll have Habitat for Humanity there for the furniture collection, Project MKC donations we're accepting, diapers, formula, and personal hygiene items, and then we'll have free beef lawn bags. And then the Sista hauling, they're supplying, they're donating a dumpster to that too. And then this year, something else that we're doing that's new is we're going to have the Citywide garage sale. This is something Megan's talked about for a few years now, and it's been tossed around, and it's been on the community engagement site, and we said let's try it this year, let's see how it goes. So we have June 24th, 25th, and 26th. Now this is a question we had because we're going to say no permits necessary. We're going to ask people to call my office, get on a list, so we can post a list of all the addresses that will be having garage sales this weekend. So this is the first time doing it, kind of a test run.
I think it's a good idea,
Let's see how it goes.
because I think if you have all that many people and you have a list, you're gonna get a lot of people from outside the community coming to them, not just, hey, we drove by because there was one.
So the big question is, because the ordinance requires a permit to have a garage sale, there's no objections from council that these 3 days will be permit free?
I think it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question.
So we were waiting to talk to you guys today, so we'll probably post this tomorrow.
Will council need a resolution then for that, because it is going against ordinance?
I don't know, because I think it gives safety service director power to,
I gotta read it.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, we're okay with it, just if we do need to come up with something, just so we know.
but we can get that done before
Yeah.
this date.
Yeah, no
Okay.
worries.
And the last thing is Memorial Day will be on Monday. The first celebration will take, not celebration, the first event will take place at Hamilton Lake at 8 o'clock in the morning. The second one will be 9 o'clock under the bridge. The high school will be at 10 o'clock, and then Lake Park will be at 11 o'clock. So if anybody wants to attend all of them, I know at the high school one is where they'll recognize any elected official that's there. And usually we have a good turnout, you guys all usually show for that. So that's Monday.
So hang on, will you say that one more time?
8
Hamilton
o'clock.
is at 8,
Yep.
9 o'clock?
Under the bridge
Okay.
by the recycling. And then 10 o'clock at the high school.
Yep.
And 11 o'clock at Lake Park.
Okay.
That is all I have.
Any questions or comments for Mayor? Report of standing committees.
Let's go with Finance and Legislation for June 3rd?
First.
June 1st.
And that will be the day that Phil Purrier is going to be coming down to talk with the chip.
6 o'clock down.
Yes, 6 o'clock.
Any other committees?
Want to bring that up now?
You do it now, or you want to do a committee meeting? I call a committee meeting. Whatever you want to do.
Well, I want to report this to the mayor.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
Okay. Mayor, on the resurfacing program,
Mhm.
there's 5 streets,
Yes.
okay? And as chairman of the general improvement, I went around to the committee individually and all of council.
Okay.
And we're looking to have the 2022 program finished by the end of August. That's what every council recommended to me, every council person.
Okay. This is something that we've already answered for you every single year since I've been here. We cannot do it until we have the money. Until we get the money, we cannot do it. That's why it's always usually October.
Well, what did we do years ago, Chrissy, when Terry was here? How did we get the money then and we can't get the money now? Because we were finished.
Settlement of the real estate usually isn't until actually October. Whenever we would get the money from the matching grant, is not necessarily on our timeline, it's on the timeline of the grantee, so,
And how was it done? I talked to the mayor, the former mayor, and he says our program was done in July, at the end of July.
I don't think so.
Yes, I know for a fact it was done. I was here, Bob.
Well, maybe years
and
ago it might have
bidding
been.
process.
But if you wanna skip 1 year, then we will have the money to do it ahead. You know what I'm saying? We can do it in July or
You
in
could-
June.
you
If
could
you
do it in
wanna
March
skip
if
1
you
year,
wanted to,
because
if
we'll
that
have
were
the
the case.
previous year's money.
Yeah.
But if we wanna do it in the same year, we have to wait for us to receive the money from Eastgate and other,
And there's also the
places.
process of the bidding out,
right.
receiving the bids, awarding, and then we're waiting on the pavers time as well. So a lot of it is out of our control.
So we're not getting grant money until October?
No, that's not what I said.
No.
Uh,
No,
What I said was, we get our settlement of real estate tax, and of course, that all is a levy, the levy fund.
Right,
Okay.
right.
There's two settlements. You would get the first half and the second half. The second half, we don't get all the money until usually around October is when we get the final settlement, is what they call it.
So you're saying, you're telling me that we have no extra money in the general fund to get this done and then put that money back in the general fund?
You can't do that.
that's not the way.
Can't do it. No, yes, I'm telling you, no, we don't. You already passed the budget for this year. There's no money in general fund to float a resurfacing project for this year.
If we were to kind of look forward with next year's budget, I mean,
Okay.
is that something we would be able to do next year?
I mean, I would have to look at the logistics of it, the laws, how the state looks at it. You know, you can transfer money from general fund to other funds, but to transfer out of a special revenue fund into the general fund is a little more tricky, and that's what you would be asking me to do,
Gotcha.
because you basically are asking for like an advance out of general fund and then a payback,
Right.
which can happen, but it's something that needs to be planned for before the year begins. It would be very difficult for me to accomplish that at this point in the year.
Right. I mean, but
You're saying-
but for next year.
The companies that do the paving.
Yes, I mean, I believe logistically, from my understanding at this point of what council's asking, yes. I
Okay.
think it's something that could be done, but I don't know if all the other pieces would fall into place beforehand, and I also do not know if Ohio Public Works allows something like that. I would have to really
That
check
wouldn't
into all
have
of the.
Have any bearing on messing up our match, would it?
That's
Because
what-
basically all the
I don't
resurfacing,
know.
we get a match, and we obviously don't wanna spend more money than we
Well,
have,
you're gonna
we're
spend,
gonna
you're gonna
get for
spend the
match.
money before we ask for the match.
So hang
It's
on,
not a
so, but
reimbursement
wait,
thing.
but what I'm asking, I guess, is this, so if you're spending money prior to getting the
Then
match,
you don't get the
right?
money.
Well, I'm not.
I don't know that.
Yeah, I'm not
There's a
saying
lot
that
of
question, I
questions
guess,
have to look into.
what
That would
I'm
be a
saying is,
concern for
you
sure.
would have to spend the whole amount.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess is what I'm saying, so,
Yes.
currently, we only spend 20%, correct?
Right.
And a match is 80%. We would have to spend the whole 100 up front and then get reimbursed the
And
80,
you're
is that
looking at-
correct?
If they do that.
Yes, but that's what
You
I'm
would have to
asking.
spend $390,000.
And then
where-
get 80% of that back,
Right.
is that what
And
you're
we
saying?
did talk to Gary Diorio in 2020 about this too, and he confirmed we cannot do that.
And sometimes there's not so when I give the reports and you look, you see there's funds, okay? There's fund 215, it's the street levy fund, okay? Perhaps through 3/4 of the year, you have almost all the money you would need, but maybe not all of it. So even our match, we might not have 100% of it until September.
Willing to wait a month or two to get their full payment done?
I guess that would be up to the company.
Would that, I mean,
Well, I'll throw another thing into,
if
Right
they
now,
know they're
I
gonna
have
get the
a
full amount, I'm
memorandum.
sure they would.
We wait 90 days
Sure.
sometimes, I mean, that's just part of
Yeah,
doing
that's 3
business.
months.
Yeah.
so this year, we're looking at doing a memorandum with this village of Lowville, the township, the village of Poland,
Revise.
Poland Township, Campbell, City of Struthers, and going in a joint bid process for our paving. because of the price of paving is getting so high, we feel if we bid it all at one time,
You
we
can
will
buy
get
power.
Yep.
Right.
absolutely.
Same way a Lowe's or
our contract and everything with the paper will be separate, but the bidding process will be one. So if we go out on our own, then this, which I was gonna talk about later today,
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be able to even think about.
Well, basically, Bob, what you're saying with that, I guess, is our purchasing power becomes so much broader because now we're not dealing with 390,000. We might be dealing with 2 million
Yes.
for one
Exactly.
person, but we're still only putting up the same
We're putting up
amount.
the same amount, we've
Exactly.
still got the same oversight and everything else.
Yes.
It's just that,
And we still have the
One
same
company's gonna get
control
all-
over the quality of product that we
Yes.
are getting. None of that is gonna be changed by,
Because everybody will be in the same product.
correct.
You said we're going in with Poland Township? You said,
Poland Township, Poland Village, and Canfield.
didn't Poland Township just do all their streets?
They
Did they put out?
They did a mass, not all of them, but they did 80% or something. But they still have other paving projects that they're gonna do through Eastgate also. But this is just something I'm bringing to you because we're gonna have to approve this, of course, at some point. You know what I'm saying? I just got it, I have to give it to John to look over. I just want you to know that it's out there, that they're thinking about doing this.
Everybody's trying
To be honest, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. What I would wanna know, when people bid paving projects, there's a price per square foot, obviously. I would wanna know that that price per square foot was gonna be substantially less by us maximizing our buying power and going in with 200 people.
Here's the thing, last year our paving project had one bidder. One bidder. Okay? So we're hoping that by doing this, the project is big enough, we get at least more
Yeah, it
than
gets
one
more
bidder.
broad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
For every city,
Right.
yeah. Things can be cheaper now.
Well, sure, I mean, that's how Best Buy gives you a better deal than the corner store on buying TVs, or how, Walmart or Lowe's is better, their buying power is
Yeah.
substantially larger.
Are we gonna be looking into crack sealing at all?
There's actually a guy coming in
When-
Wednesday or next week or something.
Now, will you guys send that out to bid, the
Not
cracks in?
crack seal, to talk to us about an alternative to crack seal. Well, we have to hear yourself
Friday.
first. Friday?
Friday.
Not this Friday, is it?
Yep.
Okay. I thought we had Memorial Friday.
To be honest, just my 2 cents, but the crack sealing is almost a need if we're gonna keep pouring money into our streets.
Crack sealing was very, very beneficial years ago, but now the price of the crack seal has gotten to the point where you don't get very many streets done. So you need to do 5 streets and you're doing 2.
Well,
You know, it's-
I guess my point on that too is in the past, I don't believe the way we did it maximized that. Because we did streets that were past prime. If we went out and crack field streets that were sealed or paved 2 years ago,
Right.
and we were only doing a couple strips and you're
A street
saving
that was
them,
paved
that's.
3 years ago is a prime candidate
Sure.
for crack seal.
A street that was paved 10 years ago, it should not be. I mean, now you're just wasting
Right.
at that point. But I do feel that it's important because we pour so much money into the streets and into resurfacing that, yeah, we might be able to do 10 streets for that price if they were all paved 3 or 4 years ago.
You would get more
That was
linear
always my
footage done,
point,
yes.
Now, if you're gonna do something that could be tore out this year, you're just wasting at that point.
Okay, anything else under committees, standing committees?
Can I just ask a question back, is there a reason that it's only a couple months? Is there a reason?
To get it done?
Yeah.
Because last year we were paving at Halloween.
The year
And
before,
there's-
we were also,
I don't know about the year before, I'm talking about last year. There's leaves on the road and everything, and they're
Yes.
paving right over the leaves.
that's the way it's been for the past 3 or 4 years.
And to
I
some
don't know if I was
extent,
I don't know about that.
I would like to see like when we signed the contract and when they actually did it. Like, we don't have control over some of that.
No.
No, it's usually at least a month after the contract is signed before they actually start construction.
When do you put the bidding out? Just out of curiosity.
Well,
Usually when Gary tells us that it got approved through East for the match, is when we put it out, we bring it to council and we go out to bid immediately.
Then it's all on the papers when they can get it done, obviously.
and that's determined during pre-construction meetings and everything else.
And listen, we don't like to wait, so we usually schedule those meetings pretty quickly.
Sure.
Anything else under committees? Okay, there's no legislation. Unfinished business.
Bob, anything on the roads that the gas company tore up and improperly, I guess, put back? Do we have any update on that?
They are sending us checks on a regular basis, they're letting us know where they're cutting them on a regular basis now. The first couple were informative to them,
Okay.
but from this point on, there should be no other violations.
I
or-
guess my question is, have they said anything about replacing
I
those?
don't think they intend to dig up what they've already repaired. I don't think that.
Is that the city's contention to force them
I
to?
could if you want me to.
I would I mean, me personally, I don't know about anybody else, I would
It's in
recommend,
our ordinance, that's the whole
it's
reason we did
well,
it.
not only is it in our ordinance, but they are to pull a permit when they do the work. If they pulled the permit, they would have known that they had to go to the center line. So this is on them.
We changed that 2 years ago.
This is on them, this is their fault, and these are our streets. I believe that they should be forced to come back out. It's not a cost that's on us, this is the gas company.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to pay a subcontractor to do this right. They should have known where they were digging,
Sure.
and that's just the truth. And the patches are, if they were questionable, I would say, okay, no harm, no foul, we understand. They're not. They're bad patches as far as versus our ordinance
Yeah.
goes. So to me, if I had to vote, I would say they have to come back out.
I agree 100% with that.
Again, we put a lot of money into these roads, we're trying to look after them as best as possible, so with that being said.
I will contact Travis Stalker tomorrow and tell him that we're talking about our system, basically.
Well, Catherine,
Catherine.
yes,
Right.
Catherine and,
Yeah,
Smithfield, I believe.
okay,
Corner of Smithfield and Garfield.
has that one been a permanent repair already?
I believe
believe it is,
so,
yeah.
yeah,
Yes. Alright, if it's, I'll have
If it's-
Tom look at
yeah.
the ones that have been permanent repair. Cause so a lot of times, like the water company, they do a temporary repair,
Sure.
and then they come out and do the permanent repair.
Is that what the situation is downtown? Is that
Downtown, that's temporary, that's not a permanent repair down there.
How long is that gonna be?
Hopefully not long.
Because it's been idle for weeks.
I don't know what, I'm not positive that Aqua's done digging.
They dug that intersection twice already,
Yeah.
so I think that's why they're holding off. They had to dig that up twice. So. Okay. New business, any new business?
New business. I have somebody interested in doing a block watch on the north side. So how do we go about that? Is there a certain way that, because a block watch, I don't know that we would do anything, but how would they, so they have to have a president?
Yes,
vice-
they need
have
a
to
president, a secretary, and maybe a board member, and the councilman is not allowed to be on the board.
We actually have no affiliation with any of the block watches
Yeah.
whatsoever.
We're
The
not
city-
allowed.
Correct.
No.
The city or council has nothing to actually do with them. So this is
Okay.
independent.
Exactly, but like how would she get it started? They do that on their own?
They have
Yeah,
to go
if I were
to-
her, if I were instructing her, I would say reach out to the other block watches and find out how they do it, you know.
President, secretary, and you said what?
Board member?
Yeah, some type of board member,
Okay.
or vice president.
All right, but there's nothing that she has to go through the city itself to
No, it's all.
do anything? Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Any other new business? Report our law director, John?
No report.
Questions for our law director? Chris?
Yeah.
You're next.
I've submitted a report for data from April, and the only thing I would add is that next meeting, I'd like to come to council with an ordinance permitting Bob to enter into a contract to lease 2 new police vehicles. I don't know if you remember that 2 of our vehicles were in a accident and they've been completely totaled by the insurance company, so we're gonna need to replace those. I think probably with what we got from the 2 vehicles,
It wasn't much, it
not
was
so much.
maybe 30,000 with both of them.
So
Yeah.
how that would work, whereas we enter into it this year, usually they require the first year's payment. So that insurance money would probably cover that. And this comes out of police equipment and replacement.
I have a question on that too.
Sure.
The old vehicles that are outfitted, when the insurance company purchases them, are we allowed to take our equipment off of that? And would that equipment be up to date enough to be reused on a new vehicle?
We will reuse them as replacement parts on our existing vehicles.
Okay,
And they did tell us that we could, because they're gonna scrap them.
okay,
So I already sent them the titles and the power of attorney and everything else for them to scrap it. They're gonna send us a check. They won't take the vehicles until we've had an opportunity to take off anything we want, including
that's good.
tires or
Is
anything
the
else.
leasing program still around? Remember we leased them for 3 years?
That's what we're doing. It's
And then you
state
buy them for $1?
purchasing. And then we need to have them upfitted, and we do that through IBIS Tech. And I believe that they're not gonna take old parts and put it on new vehicles. No one's
I
gonna
can
finance
understand that, but we
Yeah.
are keeping the parts at least for our older
What
vehicles
we
that
can
we
do,
could.
yes.
Great,
So Bob, so apparently to lock in the rate, we needed to do it this week. And that was not enough time for me to get a piece of legislation to Megan for you today. So they sent Bob the docs, but he has not signed. So I don't know if you're comfortable with doing like a roundtable yes, and then we'll bring legislation next time to lock in the rate, or we'll just
Well,
float
I
it
mean-
and we'll get a higher rate.
Maybe he's done.
yeah, we really don't have a choice as
Right.
far as getting them, and I would hate to see us pay more money just
Right.
to,
Okay,
I mean, if everybody else feels comfortable, we need the vehicles.
Is what it is.
yeah. So basically, it'll just be an ordinance like, giving Bob permission to enter into a lease agreement to purchase the 2 vehicles to be paid from the line item police equipment replacement over the next 3 years.
So,
Yes.
Mike, you want to roundtable it?
Sure, okay, Dallas,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Bob, yes,
Yes.
okay.
And then I'll
Sign
have
tomorrow.
a real piece of legislation next.
Okay.
Any other
that's all.
questions for auditor? SSD, Bob?
A few things. First of all, I'll let you know that the kick wall of that Mickler Field is down. I believe they're almost done with the project where they were putting backfill dirt and tapering it away from the stand. So that threat of it falling and tipping over is no longer there. The memorandum of understanding to go between the councils and Campfield City and everything else we've already discussed with the paving project. I have to have John look this over, make sure it meets our requirements, and then before I enter into that agreement with those cities. Nick's department store downtown, we asked for 3 bids, one company declined to bid. And the 2 companies that did bid, one was $135,000 and the other one was $90,000. So we're gonna go with the $90,000 company, and we have enough money in our demo fund to pay for this. The county is going to reimburse us, but at some point,
So I'll need to come back to council, and we'll have to amend the budget. So the demo, nuisance abatement, whatever it is, I think we have 150 in there now. We'll use that, get the money back, and we'll have to re-budget to where that fund would be like, 241,000. So we'll have a receipt to offset, but just so you know what's going on.
Chrissy, do we have any type of knowledge on the timeline for reimbursement?
No.
I don't think it would be
Within
long,
this
but-
calendar year. for
When we
sure.
talked, yeah, they told us once we produced the bill for them, it would be pretty quick.
Okay, great. The only reason I ask is so that we're able to continue demoing,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
We should be good.
And right at this point where we're sitting, even expending that bill, it still leaves us with like $30,000.
So you're still able to tear
We
down
can do some,
immediate or
if something
emergencies.
needed within the next 30 days, we'd be okay, I think.
Okay.
And these ones, the county, because it's coming from the ARPA money, it still has to follow federal guidelines. So they asked for these proposals to their specific companies that meet all of the criteria for the federal money.
Okay. So we were,
Needed-
yeah, we were bound to more or less, not these companies specifically, but
But
once they
they-
carried their
Yes.
requirements.
Yep.
But because of that, we're able to almost to get reimbursed on it.
Yep.
That it, Bob?
Nope,
One more.
downtown Struthers, traffic problem at State and 616.
There
I
you
don't
go,
know
Bob.
if we're aware of it. I've contacted the environmental design group. We are going to do, we can't get any money until we do a traffic study. So the environmental design group believes they did a quick look at the intersection. In the past, since 2019 to 2021, we've had 10 crashes at that intersection. I was not aware it was that high. But that puts it at 3.33 crashes per year, which is a threshold to get ODOT money to correct the problem, okay? Whether it be a turn arrow or whatever the need may be. So they're going to do a study for us, and they're going to do a quick study, and it's going to cost $8,000. That's a quick study. Now, if it is determined that this project is going to cost over $250,000 to correct it, which I think is a distinct possibility, putting in new traffic lights, putting in pedestrian crossings and everything else, then they're going to go for a full study, and it'll charge us an extra $8,700 for a total cost of $26,000 to do the study, okay? But we're trying to make headway with that intersection downtown, okay? It has, I agree we have to do something.
And we can't even apply for anything
Yeah.
unless we have a study in place.
Well,
So all the
and-
money we can go after it after we.
My question would be this, if we got the study done, didn't get the grant, in the future, how long would that study be good for? Next year, can we reapply for another
Yes.
grant based off of
Yes.
this year's study?
I think
You
it
would
would-
think
I
so,
think it would be good for at least 5 years.
I don't believe council would need to. I think there's enough in our capital improvement budget, so you would obviously need to pass a piece of legislation allowing Bob to enter into agreement if you wanted to. But the monies are already budgeted and not earmarked, so I don't think it would be an issue to pay for. If that's
And
a
the reason
consideration.
this specific group was chosen, we've been, like, as you guys know, we've been trying to work with as many companies as we can so we can see kind of who we like. So we've never worked with anybody from this company before. They brought their whole team in, and you can tell when there's a star sitting at the table. And she is the person that ODOT has do their studies from Columbus. She receives award after award after award. We were talking to her about the traffic light, and her resume is pretty intense. And we felt really comfortable with
Well, I was gonna say, within talking to her though, you could tell a difference between
We think we're gonna
other
get a very,
candidates.
very good study out of it.
Also, I think they're very adept at getting monies.
Yes.
It's
She's-
also a company that can
She never,
get a grant, get us.
they never guarantee you money, but she
But
felt
they're
very
good at
good
it.
that we can get ODOT money. to
based off of
address
the
it.
crash report.
And that's, we originally asked for, what, the Safe Streets,
Safer Streets. grant.
Safer Street grant, but we can't apply for that because we don't have any study. So you have to have a citywide safety study done in order to apply for that grant. We don't have that at this point. So we're gonna do this, and then she feels we can go through ODOT and get the money to fix this.
Could we use that grant possibly to get other monies for other spots in the city?
If
'Cause
we
it's a
do,
citywide
if we do the
study.
citywide study,
There's a ton of money
I was just gonna ask you about, like, what I
gonna be
elaborated
coming
on.
out.
Do we have a
Like
cost?
$5 billion.
Do you guys know a
There's a
cost
lot-
difference
lot of money.
between a whole city study and just a downtown study?
well, I didn't ask that point. At some point, if, I'm thinking she's going to address that with me,
Okay.
but
Well,
she
and
feels this is the quickest, easiest way to address that intersection.
if we did a whole city study, we would no longer have to appropriate the funds for a downtown study for the
No.
same grant funding, or we
No.
would still need
You
it
still need this.
compartmentalized?
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Bob, can we finish your report on the floor? The reason being is Mark Brenner asked to talk to the council.
I'm good, I'm done.
Okay?
I got a question for the SSD.
Can we do that on the floor, because Mark would like to
That's fine.
talk to council? Okay? Go ahead, Mark.
I'm only going to take a minute. I know that the treasurer in the past has always submitted monthly reports to the council, which I think is required. And as you know, I have not yet submitted a report for this year. Part of the reason is because we're currently undergoing an audit for the past 2 years. It's a standard audit, something that happens every 2 years. It's not a special audit or anything else, but the state's in, and we're working on the past 20 and 21 years. There are some adjustments that are going to be, need to be made. I'd rather wait until we make those adjustments and finalize those adjustments, and then I'll bring a report to council for the year end of 2021, and then monthly going forward.
Your new report will be retroactive?
Yes, I can make it retroactive, I can give you every month going forward, yes.
Thank you.
All right, but in the meantime, if anybody ever has a question, call me, email me, approach me, whatever. I hope that within the next month or so, we're going to be pretty well cleaned up on that audit.
Cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
That's it.
I didn't mean to cut you
That's
short, Bob, but I wanted to make sure you had a couple minutes or whatever time is needed.
535 Wilson Street. The city tore that house down that was burnt up there, okay? And the grass on that lot is 5 feet tall. It needs cut.
There's several houses and lots around the city that we started, the summer help started this week. A couple of them started last week, but we got a third one start this week. Probably within 2 weeks, I'll be able to say everything's cut.
This
All right.
is, we have this about
It's-
every year, this first
yeah.
couple weeks. It's
Sixth.
Said there's, I drive out the gravel parking lot and I see two right across the street from me, that irritate me every single day. Okay, so
I have one thing. The house we tore down on 616 across from the park, are we doing anything with that? Because it looks terrible.
can he talk about this?
On 60, yeah, I met with,
Behind the plaza.
We got, hey Bob, we got 1 minute, we're getting close to that.
yeah, I met with an engineer, we're gonna put a nice, we have a nice project going on there. Met with one from Rudzik, I'd like to meet with one from Bova to give them both an opportunity since they're local businesses. Whatever one presents us with the best opportunity and fiscally the best opportunity, we're gonna do it, but we're looking to move on it very, very soon.
What are you gonna do
What's
with
the
it?
project?
We'd like to do, definitely want to provide some parking down there. And in cahoots with the sewage department, obviously we're gonna tie in, take care of the drainage. We'd like to bring the elevation down. We're also working with Bob over at the Parks Department to maybe put some nice bushes, flowers, maybe a little gazebo or a bench, whatever he has in his budget he's willing to do. And obviously we have so much room to work with, but we're definitely going to utilize every bit of it.
Good.
I know it's terrible, and it's going to be a home run, I promise.
And before we adjourn, I just want to introduce AJ Elia. He's going to be interning with me. He's from YSU. Lives in Struthers. So just so you guys can see him around.
Put them to work, Joe.
Speaking of the intern.
Very
good. You know, yeah, I don't know. I accept that. I got it the other day.
We got it down.
Did we clean property? Yeah, and I can get you more information.